So, Chapter 18 is new in the third edition, dealing with a bully and the internet. On the internet, there is an anonymity that is afforded to people for many years since the internet kind of evolved and came out into the public. People would troll and put up mean comments and did so with the understanding that that wouldn't come back at them. As we've seen lately in our cancel culture, this is changing and people are getting called out for what they are putting on the internet. And so that's a really interesting shift, and it's up to you. How you deal with somebody on the internet who's a bully. Do you put stock into what they're saying? Do you care about what they're saying? Do they have any material impact on your life whatsoever? The other day I had a young friend who was really upset that she had posted about $4,000 a year per person, some sort of relief package that she wanted passed. And a gentleman who, by the claim, and he had been working in his profession as a reporter for at least 20 years, so I assumed him to be at least 40 years old. And he basically starts trolling this 20-something-year-old about her having a horse, and how dare you say you're poor when you have a horse. And she gets all upset, and then he blocks her, and then she's upset even more. What the hell does it matter? The fact of the matter is that people are trolls on the internet. You might have been a troll on the internet. I say, figure it out. Does that person have an impact on your world? If they do, how do you mitigate that impact? And can you figure out how to use the internet and these other social forms of communication in order to change the way that we are living right now? Ethos and a bully, that's clearly based on Trump. Unfortunately, I'm not even bagging on conservative ideology or the GOP at this point. It's specifically Trump. He has made fun of disabled people. He's made fun of people of color, of women, of victims of assault. He's made fun of Gold Star families. He's a bully, and unfortunately, history will tell the truth about the impact that a bully has, and that it does lead to things like what happened in Charlottesville. So hopefully we can start considering what we're doing on the internet and the impact, not just how it makes us feel in the moment. Chapter 18 continues on with pathos and the political uncle. Family dynamics and politics are really intense and often interesting, I think, especially under these social isolation conditions. So if there's somebody in your family who has a political belief that is dramatically different than yours, you have to, again, think about what's the impact of that belief on you and your life. My mom recently got me a subscription to a morning devotional called Mornings with Jesus, and she kept messaging me to see if I had received my Mornings with Jesus. So finally I go down to the post office, and yes, it's here. I get it. Thank you, Mom. I got the book, magazine, put it aside. The next day, she wanted to discuss the daily devotional, and I was like, oh, you're not just buying me a magazine that doesn't really play into my personal spiritual beliefs, but now you want me to spend daily time on it and discuss it with you. And my mom is 67. She's been a Christian her whole life, and she's not changing. So guess what? I'm going to start reading my Mornings with Jesus. As far as the concept of aggressive interest, it's really interesting that we assume that others have similar political and personal and economic and social ideologies that we do. In interpersonal communication, it's called the assumption of similarity. And sometimes when we are very passionate about something, we think that others will be passionate about that as well, and that aggression can come off as very forceful, and it can turn off your audience. So it's figuring out how to get your passion across without overwhelming your audience. And finally, virtuous pose. How to have a stance that is credible, especially in these times. It's something for us to discuss, especially in a small question